Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Valentine's Day, I think. It's February 14th on 2022, and there are still sports to discuss. Even if you're sucked into doing something with a loved one or a potential loved one today on Valentine's Day, or if you've got a chance to watch sports, or maybe your loved one likes watching sports, maybe you found the solution to life. Anyway, point is, let's talk about the algorithms. I'm gonna do it for 10 minutes. All right. Sometimes I think let's keep this sucker going. This will help moderate me, even though I'd like to have a discussion and teach some things today as well as go over games and predictions. So, betting, wagering, it's an interesting part of this. It's not the entire point of doing this at all, but it is part of this. And what's interesting is going over what I wagered on the Super Bowl. That's what we're looking at. Had 27-21 game, ended up being a loss for the Bengals late with a Cooper Kupp really deserves an MVP if he didn't get it. I didn't watch the celebrations and awards after the game, but it was a good game. And what was nice was talking about this pick here, which is plus 4.5, and why it was such a solid pick. And I did, wager a significant amount of what I wagered on the game on that bet. So even though the loss hurt, and I could have got paid a ton. And oh my God, I had one of those free prop bets, where I needed Joe Burrow to pass over a certain amount of yards, and he was like 20 short, and then they couldn't finish off. But I think a great game played by all. It seemed like, right, a really enjoyable game. And you got to use the algorithm to find this and not get sucked into this, and not get sucked into this great line, seeing that they're supposed to win, and then putting everything on that, and then having it all fall apart at the end. Because what was interesting about this plus 4.5 bet, and I got a plus 8.5 bet early in the game when they went down in the first quarter, and I bought that. I was sitting at B-dubs with my son. We're watching the game, listening to everybody cheer, and he goes, "Oh, it looks like a lot of people are rooting for the Bengals." And I go, "That's bad for my bet." That's what I said. But I go, when they dropped down, 7-0 or whatever, and I took them plus 8.5. It was so easy money coming down the stretch in the second half. And so betting, which is why I spent some time on this here, 2.5 minutes or whatever, is a really interesting part of this, because you got to find this yes on the list when you make the bet. So how do we do that? Well, there's no more football. If you want to buy this football file, just let me know, and I'll probably put it up for like $25. You can have the full last year file. It's got all the games, right? Like you can look at everything. We went 158-11. This is not necessarily right, because I think the first week I backdated, but like things like the last 4 or 5 weeks or something like this. Yes, 58%, 60 on the spread. There's things called spread picks, 43-30 on the spread picks. It's pretty good. Anyway, point is, it had a good time, and I'm happy with NFL this year. There was a period a year before, I think it was, where things were a disaster, and I wasn't doing point projections as well, and it wasn't working. We didn't really have a break from that. I think maybe 1 week it had a really bad week. I remember one week was terrible, but other than that, I got to say hats off to the NFL algorithm this year. So there we go. Okay, 2021 is done. All right, what next? Well, NBA people care about, and it's quick. Yesterday, the two favorites won. If I opened this up, you'd see that and they both cover the spread too. I think it'll say that. Yeah, everything won yesterday. Well, how about today? So reading this board, just the theme we're going to talk about here as we go through picks that you could potentially do by reading this properly. Well, okay. First of all, this team is supposed to be this team. Ceteris paribus, all other things being equal, if both these teams were at 100% of their players not injured, which is the injuries that you would see here, and you could open up and you could look around injuries and you could understand who these people are if you watch the game of basketball, which I don't. Okay, you could do all that if you wanted to. If they were at 100%, Utah's supposed to kick Houston's butt. They're supposed to send them to the moon in those rockets, right? That's what it means, and of course, the odds makers agree with that. Well, there's an additional layer of information which is not figured into the projected scores. It's the health. It's who's playing and who's not. So I use this as a gauge to determine who's weak and might distort what the natural course of favorites would be. That's how I look at this. So using that logic, I look for opponents that are hurting. Well, who's hurting? Hurting. Well, the other teams are also hurting except for this one, where Golden State is healthier compared to the Clippers. So in this situation, minus 240 is not a really good line. You're not going to make a lot of money. But the spread cover number, which is how much the projected score thinks that they're going to beat the spread, is pretty good. So Golden State minus 5.5 is a pick that at minus 110 is reasonable based on the algorithm. It's probably one of the strongest on here in terms of who should win by health and by margin, which is right here. A big margin. They're really supposed to win this game. Now you can think that teams that are, this is weird because the color's a little off because of the sides here, but 85 is bigger than 77, so Orlando's healthier than Denver, but Orlando is terrible. So you could consider taking Orlando plus 10.5 because they're a little healthier, but not really. It's actually not great picks. It's showing you that there isn't enough good information or a line, but here on Golden State, probably covering, there is. Here you got a really injured Portland and a really injured Milwaukee. I don't want to focus too much on points. I'm going to move on to a different sport, but I don't want to focus too much on points because our point projections are not doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not hitting this all the time like I do in other sports, like college basketball. So I don't know. I kind of want to stop talking about NBA because I don't watch it and I want to move on to other stuff 4 minutes to go. But that's the NBA look. College basketball, 34 games today. Are there any home underdogs? Of course not. Of course not. What about regular underdogs? I got updated health numbers in here. One thing I noticed was, well, who was it? One of these was okay. St. Louis plays at 5, but St. Bonaventure's good. It's not a, yeah, but there's a 12% margin there, maybe plus 2. I don't know. North Carolina Central's strength of schedule is not good. However, they have a really big margin against Coppin State. So they're at the top of the list with a 25% margin. I mean, it's really an underdog that the algorithm says is above that 20% threshold of a home bump. They would still be on here if you home bump everybody by 20%, right? They're still there. So that seems to be a pick, but it is a road team. And in college basketball, you never want to have a lot of money on a road team. It's just a rule because road teams just don't win nearly as much as home teams. So you want to look at your home teams. I just spilled boiling hot coffee all over my lap. But I caught the ceramic glass on the non-coffee side, and I'm holding my pants out to not burn my leg. I've done this a few times before. I'm a klutz. Son of a gun. I'm glad I caught it. And also, you know what I love? No carpet. I love no carpet. Let's all have 3 cheers for not having carpet. Oh my God, hold on. Let me take my pants off. Oh, that's funny. Oh my God. Ow. 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 I'm not going to take them off. They're just going to get cold. All right, we're gonna get through 10 minutes. This is what takes in my life to get through 10 minutes. It's pretty eventful. Oh my God. Whew. All right. And I'm not going to sue McDonald's because the coffee didn't come from there. All right, let's get back to basketball. Now things are getting cold. I'm going to have a big burn mark all over my thigh. Are there any home teams to play? Well, this game's in here twice, huh? College of Charleston and Drexel must be in here twice. How'd that happen? Let's fix that. Drexel. All right, so somebody duplicated this. So in order to get rid of that, there's a couple things we could do. I'll just make it really easy and just get rid of it. Are they the same? Oh, one of them's at 4 and one of them's 4.5. We'll take the 4.5 one. All right, let's refresh. That fixes that and fixes colors. That's good. So what's interesting here, I never take Holy Cross because we overestimate them because their strength. Here's 2 teams with awful strength of schedules in Holy Cross and American. We're not even going to get to hockey, guys. This is what hockey looks like real fast. I haven't even looked at it. What's the number 1 pick of the day? Toronto over Seattle, minus 200. My thigh hurts already. Okay, I just want to get back to college basketball because you can really make money. And the 2 underdogs I mentioned yesterday both won. So is there anything health-wise anywhere and line-wise? I see this NC Central is not a good strength of schedule. They've played bad teams, and they're on the road. God, actually, there's 2 reasons that's not a pick of the day if you really read into this. You want your team to be home. You want your team to have a beneficial health thing going on. Like Austin, it's minus 1,000. Like there's nothing. I guess here it's Holy Cross. I don't like them personally, and the reason I don't like them is because their power is only 30%. So I know they're a weak team anyway. Is there any? We're going past 10 minutes because I do want to find a college basketball pick of the day. Let's look at everything again. All right. So this is there because it's an underdog. Right? There's still that, but it's not the pick of the day because it's not supposed to win as much. I don't know. You want to be looking downward from your margin, and you want to have I guess that's the only thing there. What's this? Howard on the road. God, it is just tough sailing for picks. Dayton at Rhode Island. They've got a better strength of schedule to lead minus 135. The margin's only 10, but they are away. Man. I'm not going to tell you to take Holy Cross. It's just a tough board. Makes me want to look over hockey for a minute because, come on. Let's talk. All right, so, and I need to talk about hockey. Also, by the way, updating stuff if you're still with me. School Stats Stable, it's now this link here if you buy a new copy of this or just want to figure out, this is Sports Reference link. I grab it, I copy it, and I paste it right here. And when you do that, I redid the formulas. I got rid of the connection, the data connection, so it's gone. So that we don't have that problem anymore. Okay? All right, college basketball, done. NHL. I changed the goalie AM factor because I thought this was ridiculous over here. Yesterday it actually looked like a good day on paper of 3-1. Yeah. I bet on the Caps and watched that while I was watching my kids' hockey game and hanging out with parents watching. But the Caps basically lost while I was there. That stunk, but everything else apparently went according to plan. I, of course, bet on Montreal because I'm an idiot. All right, let's talk about today. Today, you got Detroit and Minnesota. Only Kokkinen confirmed. That's a bad line. Thinks they get to at least, 5 or 6 goals. If Nedkovic plays in a Detroit game, that seems weird. But it really likes Minnesota. And Detroit playing better, although in only a few games since the All-Star break. But both these teams, but Minnesota still playing good. Chicago and Winnipeg likes Winnipeg. That line, God, Winnipeg's not that good of a team right now. Goalie compares is right on the money. Hellebuyck and Fleury have the same goalie rating. How about that? Toronto and that's the big pick where it really loves Toronto in Seattle. Grubauer's rating really low. Big, huge power strength here. I mean, that's the Toronto team goals bet. You know, if you're looking at this board and say, yeah, because I was going to make this about betting. It's tough sometimes. You gotta know, like the Super Bowl pick was interesting because the Super Bowl pick I knew from the get go when I saw that was a great pick because it was more than a field goal. Here, Toronto putting up more than 3.5 goals. I'm always hesitant to say a team covers 1.5 because it's just really weird with hockey sometimes. But if there's a close game that you can see that Toronto will outscore them, so I feel like Toronto plus 3.5 is a safer bet almost because it's just enormous here. Edmonton and San Jose is the other one, and shows a really close game here. That Edmonton we don't even have confirmed goalies yet. Goalies are going to matter a lot here. If they keep going with Mike Smith, San Jose can win this, in my opinion. Whew, look at how close that is. This is one of those bet the tie games or something. I might do that. And yeah, the game with the lowest margin is the regulation tie bet, usually, I would say. All right, guys, that video went longer than expected. I'm going to clean myself up because I'm covered in liquid. Okay, good luck. May all your picks be winning.